Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on it. Can Bitcoin get back above 104,000? Can it reclaim that weekly support or resistance, or is it going lower? We'll find out today on the Crypto Liver Show. Let's go. Watch the liquidation.
Can I tell you that? Can I tell you? Can I tell you, babe? To declare my love.
Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. I hope you're feeling wonderful. It's a beautiful Monday. This is the day to be alive. This is the day to go after it. There's people that didn't make it this morning for whatever reason. Planes, up, all sorts of crazy stuff went on throughout the world. I'm not saying, right now, but just we made it. We all made it through the night. We're blessed. We woke up this morning ready to go for another day. We have opportunity in our lives. So because of that, I'm ready to rock. You should be too. I'm excited to see what the day brings. Let's push forward. Let's see if there's some money to be made here in these charts. No matter what people say, the charts will speak to us if we keep listening. Let's find out what's happening in the charts here today for Bitcoin. Shout out to all my beautiful people here on the live. You came here for the sauce. Let's give it to you. Bitcoin, 102,150. So the first thing we do is start with gratitude. It's a holistic approach to trading to make sure that we're in the good mindset, a great state to begin to trade. Okay? Therefore, we're ready to receive gains. If we believe we don't deserve and we don't believe, that's already going to begin to affect the state we're in when it goes to trading. So mindset is important. Frequency is important when it comes to building wealth. And that's the first thing we do here. Shout out to all my people. I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing. I'm sorry. I'm drinking coffee. Sammy caffeine may be coming out. Serious. This is hard stuff right here. Let's see what happens here with BTC. Some cold brew too. Got me shaking in my bones. But seriously, this stuff is strong. Shout out to everybody here. I never drink coffee, or rarely. It's like once in a blue, and then I go weeks and weeks without even thinking about it. So Bitcoin. Let's see what's happening here. This says there's more likelihood we go down and flush these longs out at 97.9. So everyone thought they caught the bottom. Chance they did not. Chance we're in a more of a bigger downtrend. Weekly would suggest, Fibonacci's would suggest, a bunch of things do suggest that we are going lower, but you never know. The world's in chaos. There's a lot of, and honestly, I take a deep breath. I'm going to make a prediction that might shock everybody, but I don't think there's ever going to be a world, WAR ever again in the world. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think both countries just have too much. We're all looking to the future. We're kind of above it. We've evolved from this. I think it's just headlines for market prices to go up and down. Really, something's going on with the price of oil, and who knows what really even went on, for all you know. So shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. But I have faith that all will turn out well, and that in my reality, peace prevails, and the human race continues to progress as we have been for the last few thousands of years. Yes, there's corruption. Yes, there's ups and downs. But hey, man, we used to dig out of the ground. Now we have computers and fast trains and robo-taxis. You know what I mean? Things are going to change. So God bless everybody here on the live. Let's get back into price action. 102,250 for Bitcoin. Can we hold these key levels? So I'm showing you liquidation levels right off the bat. What is this bookmap? Link in the description. You see candles. I see what the candlesticks are hiding. All right, and even inside here, I can see the candlesticks. Once I zoom out, I'll see the exact pattern. There's a little bit of a bull flag there that could break out on the 1 minute. And this is like watching the 1 second chart. It's giving you price action fast and furiously, immediately as it's coming in here. Absolutely beautifully. Also showing you who's getting liquidated and when, and then showing you liquidation levels that have the biggest probability of getting hit with the most liquidity. This is Bookmap. This is my edge. I've been able to make many a call here using Bookmap and my knowledge of the moving averages and patterns. I can teach you my strategy if you pay attention and you put it all together. It will take some time, but eventually you will be a boss just like me, doing the same things that I'm doing. It won't be that difficult. It'll make sense to you. You'll have it. You got this. You could do this too, is the saying here on the channel. I am not superhuman. I'm just someone that shows up every single day. You can too. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Let's break it down. This morning, we talked about a possible shoulder, head, right shoulder. We drew this line. We said, can Bitcoin get a bounce back to the upside? I used the 1 minute 200 moving average. When we cross it, it's likely you're going to get a move, especially on reversal. We did. We got a beautiful reversal. However, we came away from the 21. We came back. We reset the stochastics. Touched the 21, above the 200, low stochastics. Say that again. We touched the 21, above the 200, low stochastics. I'm going to say it a third time. We touched the 21-day moving average while we were above the 200-day moving average, and the stochastics were low and curving up. That combination is lethal for a high probability play on almost any time frame, and you want to watch it like a sniper. See, what I do, and I do this for a living, is I watch this all the time. I wait for high stochastics RSI. I can even put an alert down here on the RSI. Okay, you can't do it in replay mode, but if you can hit here and boom, and that will put an alert down here. When the RSI clicks, boom, the alert. That's when the 21 should be touching price or close to it. And that's where I enter my trades 90% of the time. What I did is I watched price action strategically, surgically for years, and I was sick of losing trades, and I found the best place where trades most likely play out over and over again after 20 years of doing this. And now I give you my sauce, which I probably shouldn't. But again, it's just like Taekwondo or Kung Fu or, any type of harnessed energy, a weapon, so to speak, you could call it. It can be hurt. It can be abused too. If you don't know how to use the strategies, they can hurt you as well. So just always understand what you're doing and take it one day, one step at a time. So this suggests that price action would come back to the 21. The stochastics would reset. And then if that happens, we should get another breakout to the upside, says my strategy. And that's what would happen. We hit this, and then we pumped again here. Now we're making the head and shoulder. And then you can see what happened was a bearish divergence began to form as this swung down on the RSI, but this swung up on price. We've kind of a shoulder, head, right shoulder getting not, defied right now, though, and which could make it, invalidated. A nice bullish divergence. See this indicator? Let's talk about the indicator I'm using here. The stochastics RSI with divergences. How I would add this to my chart. You're a beginner. You're on TradingView. You have no idea what's going on. You're going to tradingview.com. You're signing up. It's your first couple days. You don't know what's happening. You go here. This is where you add indicators. You're going to go and type in the RSI. This is going to give you almost everything, not the RSW, okay? The RSI. This is going to give you everything you need. Relative strength, stochastics. I use stochastics with divergences by neobutane. You're going to click on that. When you click on that, it will be added to your chart like so. Down here, stochastics RSI divs 3, 3, 14, 14 close. Don't mess with any of those. And you can see it called the bearish div here. It called the bullish div bounce. Suggests that there's a bullish divergence that could bounce us to the upside on the smaller time frame. Once I see that the 1 minute is beginning to reverse, because just like every single time you go on a walk, whether it's a mile, 2 miles, 20 minutes, you have to take the first step off your steps, right? So if price action is going to pump today on the daily and have one of those massive green candles on the daily and everyone's going to go, oh my gosh, right? It's going to have to pump on the 1 minute first, isn't it? And so what I did is I studied all the big time frames. I back tested them into the small time frames. What does that mean? Well, I went and found every pump that ever happened, every dump that ever happened. So let me show you. Let me teach you how to back test too as well. Today's going to be just an optimization of your mind. We're going to take you on another level. We're going to really fast forward you and show you why this channel is going to propel you to another level mentally, literally spiritually. You're going to believe in yourself. You're going to push yourself, and you're going to have the knowledge you need to feel better about yourself, because confidence breeds progression. And it's not about being cocky. It's about being confident. To feel that you have it will let you know that you can. This morning, we talked about this being a shoulder, a head, a possible right shoulder. That has a beautiful measured move to the upside for Bitcoin. Could send us nicely to $106,117. Stochastics suggests this could possibly happen. I love patterns. 68% of the time, you're going to 106,197 for Bitcoin. We get back to 106. We cross the 200 moving average of the 1 hour. This whole thing can kind of get reversed. This looks, look, let's flip this upside down. Remember the last time we had a dump? We had a shoulder, a head, a right shoulder there. Flip it upside down. That would be just like this. If we flip it upside down, shoulder, head right here, and we get the move to the upside. Understand? Okay. I'm going to get to the chat in a second. I know you guys are antsy, guys and gals, and you guys want to jump on in. Let me see what you're saying. Shout out to Bitcoin Recipe. Great day to be a fan. God bless you. Watching a highly successful traders among the greatest there is. Teaching how to load an indicator is beautiful to see. Crypto Life for GOAT. Join the 99. Shout out to Chris, man. I love you. 100K. Sam is going to run the street. Oh, man. Shout out to Dan Rodriguez, man. I make one trade a week right now for fun. I got a daytime job. I'm doing all right. I love it, John Blake. I think that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. Less trading is better, in my humble opinion. Spot on, John. God bless you, brother. And whatever suits you. Trading is for this, it's whatever suits people. You could be a 23-year-old kid inside your dorm room in rainy, cold Boston through the winter. and you go out here and there and you could learn how to trade, or you could be 76 in sunny Florida and deciding you only want to trade here and there because you want to be out golfing. Like, it depends. Like, where are you in life and what are you doing? You know, never compare. Find out where you're at. Shout out to Marcus in the house. Shout out to Fresco. Marcus, I love you with all my heart, man. One of my greatest friends in life. Marcus, man. It always make me smile when I think about you. My brother, man. No one's ever been. You've been so good to me. When you had a steak, I had a steak. When you were eating good, I was eating good. When you got a, pack, I had a pack, man. You know what I'm saying? You never let me hang. Never, not once since the day I met you. Treated me like gold, brother. I will do the same for you for the rest of my life, man. Good friends are hard to come by. Keep them around, man. God bless you, brother. Let's get back into the charts. So Bitcoin, possible inverted head and shoulder here on the one, but a little bit of trouble. We see some supportive resistance issues here. Major resistance right here locally at the level of about 103.9, 104,000, and that's that level that we lost, Hey, Sam, can you look at Sol? We'll take a look at Solana. Kevin on the super chat. Let's just jump on into Sol real quick, and then we're going to keep pushing. But remember, it all started with this head and shoulder dump. It can all start back with the head and shoulder, the inverted head and shoulder pump. It could happen. It's suggesting that there's a chance we're beginning to build that possibility. It also could be a bear flag, see? And you're like, Sam, but how can you say two different things at once? That's confusing. I'm a beginner. And I will tell you that trading is like playing chess. And if we knew what the other opponent was going to do in playing chess, would chess be fun? No, it wouldn't, right? Life is not knowing about what's going to happen. It's about reacting to it and getting better at your behavior and how you react to life. Life's going to constantly throw things at us, just like trading. And that's why trading teaches you so much about life. Every day trading is going to go up and down. There's going to be heartbreaking trading. There's going to be trades that don't go well, long positions that you wait long for that don't always pan out. If you thought trading was going to be perfect, then you thought life was going to be perfect. Trading mirrors life, very similar. Get out when you should. Stay humble, right? Count your blessings, be grateful, gratitude, all that comes into play in trading in a huge, huge way. This is the lemon juice of life. This is how you get it. Squeezing the lemon is clearing that pineal gland. That's why I talk about the lemon water. The pineal gland. Decalcify. Get yourself going on another level. That alkalinity gets you moving. Because the acidity in a lemon turns into alkalinity in the stomach. Anyway, possible bear flag here that could break us down. We have resistance. Look, you've got to get back through. You've got to get through resistance at 104,000 here. Oh, sorry, 103. Yeah, 102.99 really is this main level. We bust through here, okay. And then you see up here too, we have a major resistance at 106. But we'll get to that because we're going to have to get through the 200-day moving average on the 1 hour. There's a chance we get this reversal. I like this shoulder, head, right shoulder. Okay, and maybe I make a long trade, but it is Monday after massive liquidations. We may want to just wait. Like if we get above the 200 MA, fine, we'll miss this huge pump here. But if we get above this and the 21 comes in, and we get the connection with the low Stokes on the 1 hour, that could take 8 or 9 hours for my, what if 9 hours from now we're flagging with the 21 coming above the 200 or 16 hours from now, right? Now, yeah, that would take a lot of patience to wait, but that would probably be the highest probability trade with low risk. We could wait for those and only trade 10 of those a month. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to force it. Nothing has to be forced. Anyway, I want to look at the big picture with you and everybody here. We're going to jump into Solana for that super chat. And thank you so much for the super chat. That will come back to you tenfold. You don't have to give, but you did. Unbelievable. Thank you so much. That's very, very nice of you. Let's take a look at Sol. I mean, Sol to me is building a possible shoulder, head, right shoulder on the 1 minute that could go lower. I'm not saying that's happening for sure. Possible scalp bounce, though, on this falling wedge back to the upside, but that doesn't look amazing to me right now on the smaller time frame. We take a look at the weekly. Anytime I look at any trade, any coin, any asset in the world, I'm going to be looking at the weekly, turning off all my indicators and looking at price action. I can keep the VRVP. It doesn't really interfere much, and it's right there, but you can see gap down to this high volume node. So clearly that will be your next big support if, Now we're attempting to put in a tweezer bottom on the weekly, and we very well may. Let's pull a Fibonacci. That looks very similar to a 618. I think it very well is. Yeah, and see, we wicked right into the 618.65 golden pocket. Now, this is the Fibonacci indicator. How do you use the Fibonacci? let's bring you to that. A lot of people are asking a lot of questions right now. We're going to answer them for you. This is the value channel that's going to provide that value for you. So take a look here. How am I doing it so fast? There's awesome shortcuts. Right now, I'm going to hit Alt F on my PC. I believe it would be Option F on a Macintosh. I could be correct. You know what I mean? So Alt F, and look, I'm going to pull from this wick here to the tippity top of this wick, and I want to go wick to wick. I want to get the whole range. Fibonacci is about a bigger range. You always hear me talk about not using the wicks in divergence, not using the wicks when making patterns, 100%. But I use the wicks when using Fibonacci. That's the one differentiation between me too. A lot of traders use the wicks when making their patterns. I do not. I believe if you do that, you can't find the places they got you out. All right? Shout out to Martin Dobson in the house. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live. So you're going to hit Alt F here. All right? Then you're going to go here and up. Now, yours is not going to look like mine. You're not going to have these white. It's not going to be so apparent. Why? Because I have it set up beautifully. Go to your settings. Hit the 618. Make sure you have it. You should. Turn it white. All right? But then also click any one of these and turn it to the 0.65. I just happen to use the one down here because I think it was already there. Like here, you can just click it here and turn it white. Once that's engaged, I had the 706 too as well. 0.706. It's another kind of secret fib by the institutions that get a bounce a lot. Then you got your extensions and all. It's all ready to go, right? Make sure you're always extending right. You can't have it over there. And see how my golden pocket turns white? Makes it very apparent to see what's happening. Now we have a good amount of support and resistance right here too. We kind of slipped a little bit below it, but we're back above it. That's good support at $133 Solana. Solana is having an ETF talk. You're seeing like a lot of load up by institutions. And it just feels like it would be silly if you got into Solana anywhere between 100 and lower, to be panic selling, in my humble opinion, especially at a 618 Fibonacci. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets a bit of a bounce on the bigger time frame. Again, this is the weekly. This could take you 6, 8, 10 weeks just to get back up here. So, I'm not saying, overnight this is going to happen. That measured move takes you to 221, but it could take some time. Let's zoom on in now. Now I go to the 5-day. The 5-day is also doing the bounce off the 618 golden pocket. Could it come to the 786? It very well may. It's a known bounce area. Let's go to that 3-day chart. The 3-day also into that golden pocket. Not looking amazing though, kind of rolling over, right? It depends. If Bitcoin gets the bounce today in the next 2 days, then Solana follows. Bitcoin slumps down, it pulls the whole market to the ground. Understand that. That's just what's going to happen. You have to play the Bitcoin game. And people get annoyed, like, why does Sam have to go over Bitcoin? Because it's how the market runs. Once you understand it with me, you become the crypto lifers. Or one of the crypto lifers, right? But together, we all are the crypto lifer. We are one. It's like Voltron. We form one giant crypto lifer together. We're a monster mindset. You know what I mean? No, not a mind, but we're a mindset. A powerful mind group together. So a bit of a cup and handle here for Solana. A higher low for sure after massive sell-off. Like it doesn't get much, And so when I see, it could, I do see shoulder, head, shoulder. The bounce could be worse. We could double bottom at 107. That's the next level I would be looking at. How do we know? We're going to watch the smaller time frames. And you're going to have to see how they level off. 4-hour time frame would have, has to make this beautiful pump back up. Maybe we can get that shoulder, head, possible right shoulder here somewhere to get a move back to the upside. If you see what I see. And here, you can see the inverted head and shoulder here now on the 1 hour. Similar thing we're kind of seeing for Bitcoin, but is it sustainable? 21-day moving average maybe have to make a little flag here. You lose to 21, you're going to dump further down. But again, it looks very similar to a pump where it kind of, look, I would short the bejesus, I would short that all day long. Right? That looks horrible. Bearish div, right? The 21's away from the 200. You're likely going to dump back to the 200 moving average, right? Rising wedges break down 60% of the time. That 1 hour looks like it could possibly give us some moves. And I flipped the chart upside down to give yourself a perspective. How did I do that? Alt-I is going to be how you flip that chart upside down. That's going to keep you moving. All right, this caffeine's got me moving and grooving, got me dancing and prancing, got me ripping and flipping, got me skipping and dipping. All right, I'm rhyming in time. Don't choose to lose. Win and grin. We're going to make it every day. I hope you have something staked every day. Not financial advice, but I stake. I'm always making some type of DeFi residual. God bless everybody. No, I got hooked to the show and didn't even know a futures market existed. I had no clue what Lifer was saying the first month, but it was electric and addicting to watch. Shout out to John Blake in the house. Shout out to Crypto Billy in the house. All right? Shout out to the Billy Goats. These ain't no silly quotes. Shout out to the Billy Goats. And check them out. Billy Goat. Tails, man. And shout out to my man, Bippin' and Boppin'. That made me laugh. Man, of course it did. That was the point. Bitcoin round topping big time. It could be. It could be. So Solana could be rolling over for more to the downside. Whoever picked up Solana on the low 125 yet again, I can't believe this has been a rally where people have had the chance to get prices over and over again. See, that haven't been the case. You know, it didn't reward the fear buying when it should have, which is a sad thing because it's not easy to do and most people don't do it anyway. Right? And it still didn't reward the people that just, you know, went against the grain there. So you're seeing Solana in a bit of a pickle here. Could go either way. It loses that 200 moving average. We're dumping back down to test 126, and it loses 126. As I said, 106 is the next target there. 107. So I'd like to see it get a bit of a bounce. If it gets tighter in the zone here, more likely it could bounce. I like the way the 50 is crossing the 200 moving average on that 15-minute. Again, we did cross the 1 minute 200 moving average. That's the beginning. We had a shoulder, had a right shoulder. Look, the cup with the handle. We bounce on out. That's why they call me Sammy Cup and Handy. That's the reversal. Basically, my nickname is the key to success. It literally is, like, if you research why they call me that, then you would find out the reversals. Then you would understand that we find the daily reversal on the 1 minute using the cup and handle. Then you would understand the money printer. And that kind of goes all the way back into, it almost channels all through multiple trading styles. It covers it all in a nutshell with one word, Sammy Cup and Handy. It's deeper than anyone could ever realize if you really follow the tunes of the nickname. Why is he called Sammy Cup and Handy? Well, because he uses the cup and handle. How does he use it? He uses it in the 1 minute a lot. Wow, why does he use the 1 minute? Because he finds the daily reversal. Why? Why does the daily reversal? The daily reversal is on a cup and handle 95% of the time. The cup and handle also is an inverted head and shoulder. It's the right part of it. Like, even this is a bit of a cup and handle, and you can invert your mind. And if whatever you see, you see. So if I see it and you tell me it doesn't exist, it doesn't matter, because if I use it to trade and I win, I don't care what people thought. So when I started with this Sammy Cup and Handy stuff, people would be like, you can't just draw a cup and handle whenever you want. Who is this guy? People didn't understand. But now it's a known thing. Like, they know the guy. And we continue to be here every single day. So keep learning with me. You're going to get the facts. Everything I teach you comes from the charts. It's all the hot sauce. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. This is what you're looking for. Solana. All right? So for me, a curving 221 is a good sign that we can get a bounce. Bit of an inverted head and shoulder and a higher low on the smaller time frames. Let's see if we get the bounce. We'll get rejected or come here to the 144 area, likely. And then you can see there's some resistance here at 142 and 42 cents. For a second there. Okay. Whoa, I had to check my playback speed. Sammy is on fire. Sammy, 1 minute bounce of this SMA. Is this the moment we bounce? Let's take a look back at BTC and see what's happening for Bitcoin. 101,711 for BTC. That looks ugly. See how it's very rounded? Rounded tops do not pay the bills. It's sketchy business. It kind of looks like a bit of a head and shoulder pattern that could dump you, you know? You see that? Hard to tell, but it is what it is. I've seen so many patterns. I just see, you know, let's see if we can make some sense of this. But right now, I do see some more bearish tones here on Bitcoin. So let me finish my top-down analysis too here. So you got this level. In my opinion, you kind of got this level, but you kind of you faked a move out of it, came back inside. This is what I do, because whenever a level gets hit more than once like that, I mean, you got respect it more than you know. So to me, I wouldn't be surprised if we go back to the top of the range, even if we're bearish. So, top of the range, bottom, top of the range, bottom, back somewhere here into this top range region, right? And there's a good amount of liquidity up here always on the VRVP, going through the gap back up. Once you start moving through the gap, you can get the push. So this is the 8-hour time frame. We just got to get a candle to close above this 200 moving average on the 8-hour. If that happens, very likely we can get the move back up. Not huge though, because the range only takes you from 102 back to 105, $3,000 range. But that's just, again, I'm not saying it's going to save the day. I'm not, I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. I watch Bitcoin one at a time. I believe over time, they're going to print money. I know that. I've watched them print money. I studied the history of money. I've studied thousands of years of governments. And even in my short 42 years that I've been on the earth, I used to go to the store with my mom, and she says, I used to buy all these things with a quarter. My mom used to send me with a quarter with 50 cents, And lo and behold, so it's just, that's inflation right there, right? So, not concerned about the bearish div of the 15-minute for Solana. I don't know. I mean, that's flat. Yeah, it's slight, but I'd be more looking at this 200 moving average. If you lose it, you don't. Whether you have it or not, really. I mean, yeah, fine. It doesn't really matter to me. Bearish div there. I mean, I guess but look, it will probably make a right shoulder and take you down, right? Or it'll go up sideways, break on out. You just want to make sure you stay above that 200 moving average on the 15-minute. If the Stokes reset and you don't lose the 200, you have a high probability of winning. So I know what to watch and how to watch it to give you a better probability. It's also Monday. It is sketchy. False move Monday after massive liquidations. Could be low volume in the market too. So you take it one step at a time. Okay, moving forward with BTC. Thank you so much for that super chat. You're awesome. May God bless you and appreciate you for jumping on into the live. I'm sure all the differences get right. Would have wished it to load it up instead of get. Oh man, I remember getting a bag of Wise popcorn for a quarter. Yep. Is bearish div when the stochastics are going down when price is going up? Yeah, mainly, but more like when the RSI. Yeah, when the price is going up, but the RSI is moving down. Bearish divergence like this. This is bearish div. Bitcoin's going up, right? But if you look at the RSI, it's going down. This is beautiful. This is what I teach my students in class, and then I give them homework. Class is coming up in 5 days. I teach class on the 28th. Sign up to class today if you got wrecked. If you don't know what's happening, if you're watching the stream and you really understand it, you like my vibes, but you're still not understanding everything I'm saying, pay the extra $150, jump onto the class, hit the QR code. It'll change your life forever. You'll never forget, you'll love yourself for paying. That will be an investment in you. And that $150 is an investment in yourself. Just like a college, college class is $3,600 a credit. I learned more with what I teach you in this $150 course, and I made more money with this information than I did in my entire, college. College did help though. I'm still using audio visuals, cameras. I went to school for this stuff, right? But a lot of it you learn in the field by touch and go. You can learn it all just actually touching the equipment too. So bearish divergence, moving up in price, moving down on the RSI. But then you want to see how low the RSI was. And we talked about the 1 hour. And every time the 1 hour was hitting or touching the dotted line, we had a massive sell-off that did get a great reversal. Right here, the 1 hour touched the dotted line. Massive reversal ensued. Same thing here. We got low. We did pump a bit, even though we ended up in a bigger downtrend. So just, the RSI got really low here again with that massive sell-off. Just could tell us we might get a little bit of a movement back up, based on probability. You can almost see, if you really look at it here, it's like that has head and shoulder vibes as well, and kind of almost hit the target. So for me, it's about the 8 hours. So I'm going to stay open-minded and I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. Bitcoin could dump or pump today. I just want to take advantage of the moves that are there. And if I see a high probability replay in my subconscious mind that links back to data testing, a back-testing piece of data that I know, then I take the trade. You see what I'm saying? That's all it's going. This is a very simple process. You study the charts for 4 to 5 years, 7, 8 years. By year 10, you really have a great understanding of price action. You can see it. And then you wait for things to play out the way you've seen it many, many times before. And if they don't, you don't take it. If you do, you take it. That's really trading in a bit of a nutshell at the end of the day. Everyone's doing that in some shape or form. They're using an indicator and stuff like that, but the indicator is also the way they used to see it. Eventually, your subconscious mind will have so much data, it'll be able to make a decision without you even knowing you made the decision. See? That's when you know you're trading, when somehow it's almost as if you're possessed. I don't want to say that because it's creepy, but your hand takes the mouse, you see something, next thing you know, the trades are getting made, and it is what it is. You go from there. All right. Sam is the type of guy who eats alphabet soup in alphabetical order every time. The ABC has to be set. Type A personality. No, so bounce, 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 resistance. Can we get back above this key level? Already kind of getting a pre-resistance level. The 1 hour in some indecision. We did make the right shoulder that we called out earlier today. We did get a bounce pretty close to the 21. Stochastics seem like they may want to reset. So kind of this is where we stand. 15-minute loses that 200, which looks like it's likely. Then we're bear flagging here, folks, for more downside. So remember, this is also on the table here. And right now, it's more likely we go further down because the trend is your friend and the trend is to the downside, right? 1 hour is below the 200 moving average. So now it's more likely that these smaller time trades will play to the downside. But you never know. I'd stay open-minded. If you end up seeing a candle probably closing right around here, there's likely going to be a bearish retest in the 5-minute. And then we're headed back down to possibly 96,875, 97K. BOOKMAP does have a bit of liquidity down there. That's going to be 97.8. That's where the biggest red bar is. Well, we got a little more here coming on in, though, at 102.8 now. So there's a chance we get diverted. And we send that liquidity the other way, just like a hose, right? 5-minute flag on Tech 100. Shout out to everybody here. I got into the NASDAQ trade this morning. Let's see what happened. This is another big trade here. And again, this is my 10th, I think my 11th trade. I've only lost 2 trades. And I called it out for the trading group here. I said, I'm getting into the NASDAQ here using the 1-minute time frame because the 1-minute had gotten back above the 200 moving average. And I get in when we're there, and this just thing started to rip. The NASDAQ doing damage back at that $27,000 level, and I'm up 9% of the trade. Remember, I'm turning $2,000 into $10,000. Right now, we're at 333. We got as high as about 35, I think 36, with some fees in one trade that got slammed us down to 333. Now our balance is 38, though. It was 333. I don't know how it went up 500 when I made one trade. I didn't add to it. I don't know if there's a bonus in there. Oh yeah, I made a trade of the NASDAQ already. I forgot. We won our last NASDAQ trade and I took the 333 up. Oh yeah, I won my NASDAQ trade and I made like 340 and now I'm adding this on top and that's why I'm up 500. Yeah, so we're going to turn this to, we're about to 100% this if we take it nice and easy. So now, look, we take the stop loss of the NASDAQ trade and we move it up. So if you were in my trading group, you got the exact time. And look, they changed this up nice. We asked them to make it more, this is more Bit2Next-like, more clean, nice look. I just like it. And so shout out to BTCC for doing what I said, I want this cleaner, I want to look nice. They did it. I continue to trade the NASDAQ here every single day, almost, every day, but every day there's a good probability. And if you're in my trading group, I gave you the trade, I gave you the trade right here. I'm long on the NASDAQ for a scalp here on the 1-minute. And that's turning into a better trade, bigger trade now. And again, you're like, oh, 127. This is how you grow accounts. Once it's 10 grand, I can start moving with bigger too. You get the right to play bigger when you've done discipline to move for the small to big. And you should be, kind of actively doing this. Can you turn 2 to 10? Having, why you have other accounts. I'm managing hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. I'm doing all sorts of other stuff. So Sam, how could you care about this? Because I care about the entire discipline, what I'm doing. Very similar to someone that learns Kung Fu, becomes a black belt. He still does the small, tiny things that he did with precision, just like he did before he got the major black belt. This isn't about money. This is about structuring your life around something you love and doing it all the time. day in and day out, no matter what. You see what I'm saying? It's not about the money. It's about the discipline. Like, that's a great trade. I should discipline myself with a win there and move on. Right? Looks like there could be some bearish dip forming. And all I need is, look, a 6% a day on that. Even that 10% would be great. So I take this trade. Remind myself to grow the account one step at a time. Come on. Let's go. See? Not moving me up now. I know I am lower than the bid price. I can see that it's making a head and shoulder pattern, right? I think I'm on that indicator there. Interesting. I'd like to limit out. So you hit the price here, pull it on over. You hit close, hit limit, hit price, and pull this over and hit close long. Confirm that. And we got out right there, you see? Excellent. Again, not a huge win, but the account's now gone from 333 to 38. And that was since Friday too. So we made some trades and continued to grind. And there's my sell. The last trade, see, there's a buy there, there's a sell there. And then remember, I sold the local top on the last trade right here. I got in here and I sold right there. Remember, I last sold that 22,131. So I've been nailing the NASDAQ. And again, I don't have to show, it doesn't have to be huge. It's about, I want to grow this account and grow it correctly. I'll be back tomorrow for another NASDAQ trade. So shout out to anyone that took the NASDAQ trade with me. Shout out to Master Friend, man. God bless you for being with me. And God bless you for being awesome. May you have a wonderful day. I feel like the music's a little too loud. I'm so sorry. No one seemed to matter, though, right? Everyone loved it. Exactly. Facts, my sensei. Make him trade the basics for 5 years, then speed and power became effortless. Exactly. Sam, when can we have an update on oil, please? Exactly. Victor, Sammy be trading with a katana and a cherry blossom tree, 100%. 100%. So Bitcoin, can it hold like the NASDAQ? And can it get some greenery here? We're going to be looking at all things here too. The S&P. We'll also take a look at gold. We're going to take a look at oil. Hey, Sam, love the mentoring. Much love. Can you check POPCAT? Shout out to TI with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you for jumping on in. Let's take a look at TI for my man. And we're looking for Solana to hold above the 15-minute 200, just like Bitcoin, get tight, and then yes, we may have ourselves a beautiful reversal. If you bought the fear, usually you do get rewarded, not every time, but most of the time. If your life depended on what would you say is the top of the cycle, 160K. Yeah. Okay. Shout out to Rave Song Records in the house. Thank you for jumping on in. Let's take a look at POPCAT real quick, and then we'll jump back into Bitcoin. But we've done our top-down analysis for the weekly end. So POPCAT also getting back above the 200 on the 15. Could this be the beginning of a possible reversal here? Messy price action, up and down. What you're looking for is that if it can consolidate. I'm not in love with this. There's some bearish divvy there. That's, it doesn't look amazing. And if Bitcoin collapses, this is basically an M that's just going to continue to dump, right? Likely all the way down to this level. I don't see how. You get a pump, you could consolidate, then it looks like you want to take it in. So I would put this here, take it into your, your watch list there. So I would have an alert on it. If it ends up here, then it's more likely to break out. See, my trading style is about not knowing what's going to happen, but going after what you can each time. You know what I mean? Figuring it out as it goes. That's what it's all about. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Shout out to TI. Thank you for that super chat. That will come back to you tenfold. You didn't have to give, but you did. And you've got it, baby. You've got it. So I'd say bearish. It looks like it's going to dump more than likely. But if somehow, some way it gets a reversal and gets tight, this would be the high likelihood long. But it's more likely that it's going to dump. And it all depends on bitty Bitcoin. Shout out to BTCC. Link to there to how to trade this. It looks like I may have sold the local top of the day. That's a head and shoulder pattern. Can you see it? Shoulder, head, right shoulder to the downside. Back to the 200 moving average, likely on that 1 minute. Again, getting above the 1 minute 200 MA, getting in. When you get away and you find some bearish divergence, getting out. This happens I think this happens more than once a day. It happened again here at about, at 11 at night? Yeah, last night. And another beautiful play to the upside. And so I just continue to do the right thing. Another one of my strategies is, waiting to touch the 21. This one, it was my model. I wait for the price to touch the 21 in a flag above the 200. Stochastics were low and curving up. Execution, bang, bang, bang. You could trade Bitcoin and stochastic. You could trade Forex. You could trade anything you want using these strategies over and over and over again. I attempt to teach them. And again, then comes the discipline. You must be a disciplined individual or it gets out of control. You cannot treat this like, sports betting. This is more of an art, a disciplined art. It's more like Kung Fu, like we were talking about. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Life is Beautiful. That's a great movie. Changed my life. That's a great movie to see. Life is Beautiful, yeah. Anyway, so we're hugging this 200. We've dipped below it a couple times, but so far, we're attempting to hold the zone. And so if you're just jumping on in, we want to see if Bitcoin can hold this as a bigger inverted head and shoulder. Possibly this could be a kind of cup and handle too. But the second we start closing candles below the 200, this is on its way down. And I don't know what's going to happen. Right now, the probability is you're headed to 96.8. All right. We also have BOOKMAP with good liquidity down there. The biggest red bar suggesting that it's time to short for more. So I'm mixed on pulling the trigger here as well. One step, one day at a time. And now I am 9 for 11 trading the NASDAQ. I've lost 2 trades out of 11 trades. It's insane. And just using my tried and true strategies, I find it really follows the code. So we really want to see a green candle here on the 15-minute in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Get it? 5 to 10. I'm just mad. But so can we get this bounce? It would all start with a 7-minute falling wedge bounce here back to the upside. Just back to the top of the range. So little movements create big movements. Now, when I was a smaller, a beginning trader, this would hurt my mind. I couldn't keep concepts of the 7 and the 1 while I was looking at the 1 hour and figuring out where, all that hurt. It was hard. It was almost a little too hard, and that happens because you don't have the capacity to obtain that information. That comes with neuroplasticity because you didn't do this for a living. I didn't either. I did so many other things, so I didn't have these types of skills. That's a brain skill. You develop internal brain skills when you trade. Your mind actually gets enhanced. I believe there's something amazing that happens when you become a trader and you really start trading. And there's an enhancement to the mind beyond the money you're making. Even if you were break even for 2-3 years, like I was at my beginning stages when I traded, had no idea what I was doing and just kind of started doing gold and silver on the New York Stock Exchange. I started trading gold. That's how I began my entire career, really. I started buying and selling things. I didn't look at the charts at all, but I had an inkling of what I liked and what I wanted to get into. I studied billionaires. I saw billionaires invested. I never read anything about technical analysis. They just said they looked for emerging technology and tried to get, and I tried to find things before everybody else and put my money down, right? You try to be early, and I was early in a few different things, and those few different things changed my life, and now I'm looking to be early again. I feel like I had a knack for it. I'm like, am I going to do it again? I usually can, but we'll see. So, and I'm always open-minded to anything. Like I'm playing chess. Like, what is he going to do? Is he going to head and shoulder me to the downside? Is he going to make my dreams come true with the pump? I know both scenarios now. Now I have to look for more confirmation from my subconscious mind. Does it have something in there as my mind flutters through multiple, years of data? And can my mind keep me from making the wrong or right decision? And that's really trading too, right? Nuts. The psychology of trading, like the deep mindset, the neurological connections deep inside the microcosms of the mind. I mean, that's what the most fascinating thing about trading is, right? We actually find out so much about our minds because we have to use it in such a more fascinating way than ever. Connected to our emotions, how we feel, and our money, and our life. There's nothing more complete than trading. I'm telling you right now. Are you greedy? Are you patient? Do you know thyself? How much do you place emotional strength over feeling, over logical thought? A lot of people are making emotional decisions in a logical world. It's good at the moment, right? It feels good to follow your emotions because you're giving in. But what's happening is it's not usually the right decision. So look, the 3-minute closing below the 200 moving average is a bearish sign for me. And I don't know if I'm seeing things just crazily, but like shoulder. See how that is a head and shoulder that's very hard to see. And I know it's wacky, but I'm just kind of opening your mind here to things that you may not think are possible. So I remain more bearish than bullish unless I see this 3-minute get back above 101.8 like that. To me, no way. The Bears are in control. Watch the 3-minute. That's going to give us the sauce. All right. I'm greedy and impatient. We all are. I mean, that's the human condition, right? So we have to go through as much as we can to continue to condition ourselves. That's what we call conditioning, right? Strength training, because no one is born with these disciplines. I wasn't born to stream every day. I was born to hang out and chill. I had to work discipline into my life to be able to do what I'm doing. It's not something that happened overnight. I had to work at it over and over again, and I wasn't always the most disciplined person. You see? So what would I do in this situation? Well, I would watch my 1 minute, see if we can hold this 200. We're right on it right now. Dang. So you can see the whole market's right now. Nice little bounce off that 200. That would be a very gutsy call to get in right there. Could almost say, is it bullishly retesting there? But I like this broadening falling wedge. Makes more sense to me. And then you're getting the bit of a breakout. And the mind just keeps moving. I think that's why I like trading too. Like, look, and then we could have this inverted. That's our way out. Almost has an Adam and Eve vibe here. Right? It's kind of a slanted triple bottom. 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Bitcoin. Signs of strength. A bit of support here at 101.5, which, is psychological. A lot of people are going to have limit orders that get triggered at 101.5. Buy order, buy order, buy order, right? PSY low at 100,008. Breaking straight to 98. The Living Monk. Trading the zone is helping me a lot in addition to the live every day. Good places to start building trust. Trading in the zone is amazing. Mark Douglas. There's got to be people that are here that have made enough money, feel comfortable enough, that give away their trading, give their trading group services away for decent prices for what they, and don't gouge, and are here every day giving, supplemental free information. Everyone always comes like, oh, this is the best video for this. Like, this is the best video for the VRVP. I'll explain the VRVP almost every other day for you. These are ranges that come out. This is where people buy and sell the most. You get back above this range, you're going to fly right back up to 1019. If you even get one little candle to close above this candle here, which is 1019 into 102 region, you're back in the zone. When you get back in what I call the void, you'll fly back to your next position point. And you'll fly right here to 102.270. So look at this bounce. The 1 minute 200 moving average is very strong. And we got to bounce. Low stochastics. Bang, right? That's what we're looking for. And now you look at the short squeeze here on BOOKMAP. And you don't have to trade this stuff, right? Learn it with me. Like today, I may not trade this, but I'm taking it in. And by watching it every single day, when I go to trade it, I have a very strong confidence in why I believe it's going to play out. Because I've watched it. We've done this. You've watched me do this without a day off since February of 2021. Is that even real? It's June of 2025. We've never taken a day off of this channel. I don't know how that's even possible. I've flown to Vegas. I've flown to Dubai. I'd love to tell you guys stories about how the stream almost never made it out, but I don't want to waste your time today, and I'm hot on the TA right now. But maybe later on the stream, we can slip a little bit of human stories in there, but you guys want this TA. You want it hot. Wow, this thing is booming. Now look at your 3 minute. Beautiful bounce off that 200 moving average on the 3 minute. That's what you look for. 5 minute is already above the 200. So was the 7. 10 minute. 15 minute just got back. So the 15 minutes bouncing off the 200 too. It's a really good sign, right? And this is kind of what we're looking for, the bounce. This was the bullish move. Like if there was a bullish move, this was it. I'm not saying it's sustainable, right? We got to make sure. And look, our next local resistance is going to be right here, 102,000. Go 1 minute. Now the 1 minute could cross that 200 moving average. The only thing it's going to cross with the 21 lagging behind it. Not my favorite thing. Usually a short squeeze that's as unsustainable. Kind of like this one. We pumped above the 200, but the 21 was lagging. What happened? We ended up back below it again. You want the 21 to be kind of moving with price. As the price comes up here, you want the 21 to cross. It doesn't mean this was lagging too. It did follow suit. So if we have a massive short squeeze, this will pump back up. Kind of this triple bottom. 1, 2, 3. You see, it's like. And now what you're looking for, oh, that's the 30-second, forgive me. Oh, so we are above. So I'm so sorry. I was watching the 30-second. My finger had slipped when I went to check the time. Please forgive me there because I may have thrown you off. I did not mean to do that. So here, when we watch this 1 minute, we're going to look for the 1 minute to touch the 21-day moving average here above the 200. That is my signal. That's a beautiful signal. You get this signal later on today. This tells me the other signals can play out. The 15-minute can hold and everything else can start to come into play. You don't have to force it. You just have to kind of be in the pocket here. You see? 101,900 for Bitcoin. Look at the liquidations that just occurred to the people that are trading 100x left. All over the place, right? So interesting to watch that placement. So we've done a lot of work here. You can see how we're live watching price action. Attempting to kind of understand what's happening in real time. Showing you how the 200 moving average is so important. On almost any given day, it creates the resistance, it creates the support. And again, yes, on many different time frames you have to find it, but I don't know why it almost is always the key to the movement of that market that day. Like today, the bounce right there was so key. That can end up being your bottom of the day. After this massive liquidation there too. You can see boom, 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 beginning a smaller range and shredding through the leveraged traders. That 21 comes back to price now. We're ready to rock when the stochastics reset. So now I'm ready for my model. And I might miss it. It might do something I'm unexpected. It might have a boom. It might, I don't know. But like 80% of the time, it's going to do what I expected to do because I've watched this for years. And I'm not just going, see, when you only have 4 years of data, you'll think something's 80%, but then after 4 more years, you realize you were wrong. It's actually 40%. You just got it lucky, for a couple of years. You never know really what your data set means until you give it a lot of time. I think after 10 years of your data set, you can really start to rely on it though. Because at that point, you've round-trip cycles, and there's only so many things they can do. Like today, right now, they could dump the price all the way down, out of nowhere. They could pump the price all the way up out of nowhere. What are the odds of both of those happening? They're both low, right? Or they'll slowly bleed it out, lose a moving average, make some type of head and shoulder and dump it. Or they'll slowly go sideways, make a pattern and pump it. We'll either lose the 21 and dump more to the 200 again, or we'll hold up on the 21 and we'll pump. Like there's really like 5 things that can happen. It's not like it's infinite. I used to think it was infinite, but one day I sat there and I told myself like it's not infinite. And they live inside of a geometric shape and structure. They only have so many ways in which they can flip it and flop it. I also see something interesting here. A pattern that I really, really use a lot that comes into play, but this is an Adam and Eve double bottom here. I gotta say, it just Adam and Eve double bottomed in front of us. And lately, every time I've seen this, which wasn't the case, I see a little flag at the tip of the Adam and Eve. Now, I can't guarantee anything in trading, but this has a high probability, I'd say about a 70% hit rate of this. And then we got the gap. So now you can see, okay, well, 102.3 looks likely now. And then if you took profits there, it would make sense. You'd gap through the VRVP. So you can see, what are we using now? We're using patterns because we're looking for an Adam and Eve. We're using the moving averages because we understand that they are bounce areas. as well as support and resistance. And look, there's some key support and resistance in conjunction, because look, let's take a look here on the 1 minute. And what you'll have crossover on multiple indicators of which you use. And the more you can understand, the better, but you don't want to I don't want to be too overboard, but you can see this line. What is this line here? It's a red line. It's sticking out. But you can see the node's really high. It's called the point of control. The POC is very strong. So we bounced not only off the 200, but we also bounced off the point of control. The point of control is very strong. And when you don't lose the point of control, you're likely to head back to where? To the value area highs on the VRVP, which is up in here somewhere. So now I have a trigger point idea on how to enter and what's likely going to happen to Bitcoin based on the 1 minute time frame. And based on what I'm seeing here. Now, wow, sometimes you need the 30 second when things get real crazy. Look what the 30 second just do. It's a microcosm of the world. It just bounced off what? The 200 moving average. Amazing, right? This whole thing is some type of simulation inside of itself. Trading is a microcosm of itself inside of itself. You'll see the weeklies bounce off 200. You'll see a daily bounce off the 200 moving average. I learned this from watching price on multiple time frames. That's why one day, if you watch me, I remember trading the 50 minute on Bitcoin, I don't know, 6-7 weeks ago, and I called this crazy bounce off the 200. And it was like, it was legendary. It was, oh my gosh, I said, I'm a legend if we get in along right now, and I did, and then we bounced. The odds were high I was going to win, but nobody had the years of data I had based off the 200 moving average. You see, so you look smart just because you've played it out so many times more than everybody else, not because you're smarter than them. I am not that smart. There's way better traders than me. Heck, I know I'd rather be me than them, though, because I'll be more consistent than them. They can be better than me, but they don't show up as much as I do. So in the end, I believe I will win more. And I am going to learn. And if I force myself to show up every day, if you force yourself to show up every day, you're going to learn. You're going to learn more than the average person. You're going to take in so much data. You're going to be on another level. Like, there's a lot of people that won't be able to touch you because you're just going to be putting in that work. When everyone else is taking a day off, thinking, you know what, it's the summer, I don't need to be here. People are getting wrecked. I don't believe in crypto anymore. This is the best time to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin recovers, has a huge pump, but everyone's going to wonder what happened. And it's going to be us with the wins. And they're going to like, oh, he just shows up every day. That guy, he says whatever. They'll say whatever they want about us, but they'll see us winning and they won't be able to say no. You get what I'm saying? They won't be able to stop the winning. It's impossible. 30-second chart looks quite interesting here. Possible move further to the upside here for Bitcoin. And see that? And see the 21 crossing the 200 moving average? It's another good sign. And that tells me there could be a golden cross coming for Bitcoin later on now. 200 keeps moving, the 50 keeps coming, they cross here, boom. Telling me now that's prophetic that we could see $102,005 Bitcoin sooner than later. So we're keen here on a short squeeze. We had no idea what was going to happen. We stayed open-minded. We're starting to build. And again, even if I don't trade today, because Monday is really not my favorite day to trade, but even if I don't, we're showing you how I do. This is exactly the process that I take to find my trades for that day. Look how long it's taking. We've been live since 10. 10:10, it's 11:11. Make a wish, baby. I just pray for peace, man. And every day I'm here, I want to take a moment to pray for peace. Let me just stop the music for a split second. Dear Lord, may the whole world realize that progression of higher frequency energy is the way. May the human race eventually free ourselves from the shackles of low negative energy and really truly progress into the universe. Amen. May peace be the number one state in which we all want to achieve. May no one want to hurt each other for any other reason, for no reason. May we all find harmony on this earth. Please, I beg every person to find peace in their heart, to realize that the earth is better when there's no vengeance. It takes one person to turn the other way, which is almost impossible. But when that happens, another person, that can become habitual. And just like one person heals their mind, the human race needs to heal itself. Amen. I pray for peace every day and for high frequency transfer to the globe. I see the globe in surrounded by the brightest light right now. Every one of us, let's all picture the globe and surround it with the brightest light you can ever think about. May it be cleansed. May our spirits rise up And may our frequency also help everyone else around us. Amen. Thank you. Back to business. So, as Bitcoin dumps in my face, and he was horrible. All he talked about was peace and love, and Bitcoin dumped. That guy's... No. You can't win, you know what I'm saying? So I like this flag. It looks like we could get it, it looks like it could be a winner here. Looks pretty cool on the 30-second chart, right? Starting to form what looks to me like a bit of an ascending triangle. Stochastics are resetting while price is getting sideways. Bit of a cup and handle here. And we have the Adam and Eve double bottom. And look, there's an Adam and Eve inside of it. You see this? This is mind-blowing. That's another Adam and Eve right there inside. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool. That tells me this is... And look, this is a bit of a cup and handle here that's going to blast off to the upside. So, wow, Bitcoin looking interesting. I like what I'm seeing here. Are you excited to be a crypto lifer? Shout out to my lifers. Shout out to everybody. Dear Lord, thank you for giving Sam the knowledge to be able to help others achieve financial freedom. Shout out to Kyle Owen. Shout out to everybody here on the someone said, I like you. Dear Lord, help me. You guys are crazy, man. Don't do that. The frequency just went up a notch. It really did, though. We raised it. We raised the vibration of the earth. I truly believe that. Hey, we have thousands of people here. That's going to spread like wildfire. And help me help us spread positive energy. Hit that like button. Keep coming back every single day. They're liquidating people left and right out of this market, making people think it's a wrap. I'll give you 2 reasons why I believe this is not the end of the bull run. In a little while here, we're going to talk about it, why I believe the bull run is not over. And these are good opportunities. Okay? I saw it just as a bull flag, not a cup and handle. That's fine. As long as you saw it, it doesn't matter, right? As long as you see it and believe in what you see. Doesn't matter what other people say. If they say it isn't that, but you see it as that, but you use it to that way, then, I mean, what can they say? Right? Be boundless. The guardians of Gaia, he said it the best. Be boundless. Amen. So we're watching to see if this flag on the 30-second time frame can break out. That's where our lives ended up here at 11:15 on a beautiful Monday morning. We're going to jump into gold and oil here, too, and see what's happening. And we're not going to give into the nonsense of the news. A little bit of bearish divvy here. This could start to dump. Would have to bounce now sooner than later. Let's take a look at gold, baby gold. Last time I put out a gold trade, looked pretty nice. Let's see if it's still bouncing to the upside. We called a bounce here at the bottom of this trend line. Like that. The entry was right here at about 363. Gold is now all the way up at 386. For gold, that's a beautiful move. You're already up in the trade. We see this falling wedge breaking at least back to the top of the range. You can see by my awesome squiggly line here, and then possibly back down, and then a huge move up. I believe that was one of the best chances to snatch gold before a bigger move. Only thing I would worry about is if, the war gets brushed off, or whatever's going on gets brushed off. I don't even want to call it that. We get this shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then, back to business as usual. That could happen. That would be better off, right? We'd like to see that. If gold soars the way it's going to here, it usually means there's going to be some worse conflict coming. So we'd like to see gold make that right shoulder and fall out of this pattern, but only time will tell. That's going to take some time. Right now, I'm bullish on gold, headed back to the top of the range at 34.50, and then we'll kind of update you from there and see the bigger picture. But the bigger picture is that if it continues, breaks out, retests, something like that, and then to 3,740 and on to $4,000 an ounce for gold. Let's take a look at oil. With that straight, we said there was likely going to be that movement on oil. It told us what could happen to oil. So we've been watching this flag on oil. Hasn't really done any damage just yet. Actually looks a bit sideways. If anything, it's almost bearish divergence-esque, right? Yeah, swinging down while it swung up there. So oil, again, would have to get a bounce. Let's take a look at oil on the bigger time frame. Remember, yeah, so watching the daily, though, I mean, it's doing the model. The model is you break above the 200 moving average. So let's delete everything for a second here. Actually, wait. I got a bigger pattern, too. So I got this falling wedge for oil that suggests it is going to break up and head to $156 a barrel for whatever reason. That's inflation. That could spell trouble. Wow. That means a lot of stuff would be happening. So a trade on oil may be a beautiful move here, or a putter. I don't do those options calls, but it looks like I might have to learn. So I'd look again for the bounce. So gold and oil both, kind of respecting these trend lines, both looking for the bounce back to the upside in their respective trend lines above their 200 moving averages on their 1 hour, 4 hour time frames. So yeah, I mean, oil looks like it could bounce too as well. Again, that means more the more we see oil and gold bounce, the more. So this tells us, this is how you can kind of see what's going to happen in your life. You don't have to listen to the news. You don't have to go to Twitter. You could be in your basement with the windows closed and no radio on, never even read a headline online, and just stick to the charts. The charts will start to show you what's happening. We found that big pump on oil on that inverted head and shoulder. Said something was brewing before it happened, and then we got, next thing you know, it happened. So oil was already teaching me what was going to happen, right? If it's highly likely, if you appeared in an ancient battle with a modern weapon, some individuals or groups of the opposing would become dedicated to. Wow, that's weird. Much love, Smash, y'all. Make sure to sub. Yeah. What is the oil ticker on MEXC? I don't know. Do they have oil on MEXC? That's a great question. I don't know. They must. You'd think they would have everything, but I don't know if they have oil, honestly. I really don't. Right now, Bitcoin is beautiful on the 1 minute time frame. It's showing the model. It's Monday and I shouldn't trade, but that's like the nicest I've ever seen the model. The NASDAQ did this just the other day and I was able to nail it. Like to make it a bigger trade too. I have like 1 minute to execute. It's touching the 21 above the 200. And I can do a 3-to-1 right there. So my target would have to be 103.044, right? My stop loss would be 101.572. And I've already watched a bunch of price action. I'll do 400 for 1,300. And we'll go from there. You're going to see me either lose $400 or we're going to be on our way to making $1,300, right? And you're going to tell me what you think, right? Rate cuts will create inflation. I'm making money today. I'm going with Sam's no pants trading model. You guys are hilarious. So the trade's up $22. Okay, that's how you make $19 in under 10 seconds, but we already had a fee there, so we're basically break even. Now we're down $27. Not too bad though. And $3,600 of the trade. 34x leverage. It's a $121,000 trade. It's a pretty big trade, right? And anything could happen here. It's already starting to look pretty bearish right off the bat. And it is Monday, false move Monday. Be careful. Maybe they come and get me immediately. I don't like that already. It's already not going my way. That's not how this was supposed to happen. This was supposed to go sideways and start to pump. So I'm already kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? That was irregular, that move. I've watched this many times. That was an irregular move. 5 minutes seems to be rolling over on a right shoulder. A little far away for the 21, too. 1 hour could be attempting to roll over on me as well. Indecision in all places here. Looks like that was just a nice stop hunt, too. They're going after anyone who's in these charts. So, look. How I could win is this makes an inverted head and shoulder flag, which I've seen. And we make this right. We make this head right now. Right? So check it out. I've just seen so much stuff. So, and then we do something like this and we break on out. Otherwise, they're going to come get me immediately, right? So we got to get a bounce sooner than later now. And this previous resistance needs to hold. It's got to hold up. resistance, bounce, right? And, you lose that, then you're dropping down here. It's just obvious. So let's see what happens. That's how you lose $100 in half a second. Sammy Price. Anything could happen, though. Don't call me a loser when I lose. Don't call me a genius when I win. These are just trades in a huge data set. All right? Come back every single day and kind of watch it over and over again. Heck, I made $1,000 in like under, 3 minutes or 2 minutes or something on Saturday night, was it, right? So you never know what can happen. Pay attention. Stick with the lifers. We got you. And we're going to teach you every single day, Again, that should have pumped. I'm already confused that dumped so fast. And it almost makes me want to just get out. It didn't do what I wanted it to do already. So I already feel like it could just make a massive dump and hit me for 400. Why not just lose 120, $100, right? Makes me want to put my stop right below this wick and challenge that idea. Because if we get the move, great. If not, it negates my whole plan. So price action has to wick. A lot of people wouldn't have the guts to move so close. Let's see what that will do, though. See, 178 now, but I can't lose 400. And if it's supposed to go, it's supposed to go. This is supposed to pump. I'm not supposed to get hit off. And again, you be like, oh, but they're going to go grab you and then pump again. Possible. But already my whole thesis has been negated. I'm out. I don't like this idea. It didn't do what I wanted it to do. I'm out. Stinks. Let it pump and do all that other stuff again. It doesn't. I've watched this many times. It didn't play out subconsciously the way I wanted. That should have stayed sideways and pumped. Personally, I didn't like that. And I'm going to leave Monday alone till Monday night. That's why I usually don't trade Mondays, right? Watch it pump again now. I like that it's above the 200. Like, overall, it looks bullish. Getting in right now, the entry isn't perfect, see? There's even perfect entries on more bullish days or less bullish days. Let's see. They sniped me, too, right there, right? Kind of like they knew I was there. I put in more than I was willing to lose. That's also a possibility, right? Let me see here. Craziness. I always feel like somebody's watching me, If anything, you'd be like, not do that, Wick to the downside, sketchy. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to let it breathe right now and get into some other analysis, right? The best entry is 101.720. I don't know what the best entry is. I watch it every day. We'll see. That broke down too. Beautiful flag. Did not, I should have even just watched this. And when that didn't go play out, it was a wrap. Yep. Step ladders now. Like we're saying, can we recover here with a bounce? Looks pretty sketchy to me. Let's take a look at the bearish scenario again so we're not caught off guard for Bitcoin. And send in your super chats for TA and deep dive, anything that you want to see. I'm going to use the, Binance Futures. Oh, yeah, Binance Spot. Interesting. Coinbase Spot, good enough. Same thing, though. We're still looking for this 1 hour. Entry here with a stop below the 21 might be a beautiful play. Right? No small time frame action. Stay away from the small time frame. But look, I would have lost $400. See, so by having conviction in what I do and knowing that it didn't do what it was supposed to do, I just saved myself $250 with fees and everything else. It might have been 408 or something. Instead, I only lost like 180, 160. So, again, you have to be able to cut off trades when it doesn't go the way you plan on going. Very important. You got to be able to pay the trader when you see things, when the market shows you signs of, rockiness too as well. So what do we learn today so far? Well, we talked about gold and silver, both in falling wedges and ascending triangles, both hitting the bottom trend lines above their 200 moving averages on the 1 hour and getting oversold. Both are setting up for possible breaks, at least back to the top of their ranges here. Oil to 75, and gold, let's see where gold is going. Not gold's gold. And gold bouncing back up to 34, 34, you know. So, yeah. And you can see they're both very similar, both in the very similar, and that makes sense, right? Gold and oil. Look how similar they look. They're in the exact same pattern. They almost look like identical assets. Interesting, right? But that makes sense. And if we have more conflict and things get heated, this is going up, right? In my reality, that doesn't happen, so I'm pretty sure it's not, you know? And I believe I'm in control of the quantum theory that happens around me. And if I believe there is no war, there is no war. And I know you think I'm absolutely crazy, but that's up to me to decide, and you too. All right. How do you feel about entering at your stop loss? Wouldn't that be getting into a trade that did not doing what you want? No, because it would have gone lower. Yeah, I have entering at your stop loss means you haven't back tested a model good enough, and now you're just kind of doing what someone told you to do. Yeah, a lot of people just say, "Hey, use your stop loss and entry. That's a good spot." You know what I mean? It's so easy to say, right? It's a cliche thing to repeat. At the end of the day, I know that we hit the 21, we pump. If it didn't happen, then it looks like something's brewing that's not going right, right? And you knew, I said, if we dump, we're going to come right back to this liquidity zone, and that's exactly where we are right now. Anyway, let's take a look here. And it's good to kind of keep resetting the mind, especially in these mornings. Would Bitcoin pump with gold in the long term? Yeah. Anything could happen in the long term. You would think they would. You know, why wouldn't people want to rush into Bitcoin? Why would you, I guess people are still doing the traditional sauce, right? People still order things even though technology has told them it's not what you want to be using. People still do it anyway, so. Okay, so a bounce here, 103,800. Resistance at 110,370. Resistance at 11,642. All right. I expect a bounce because there's a huge wick, and I want to see the daily close going. The daily close is green. Now is a very gutsy time to open up a trade, but if the daily close is green, boom, right back to the upside. So, they are hedges and safe bets, so you would think. Banks are closed, yeah. Of course, I got stopped out of a literal perfect model on the 1 minute. It happens. It's okay. That's life, man. Love you, Sammy, but I don't think good vibes mean much. And you got, yeah. Well, that's the way you look at it. I disagree, see? Yeah. The reality which I form for myself is different. Looks like a great short back to the 15-minute 200 moving average. Yes, sir, you're going to power our economy. Sam, I've DM'd you on the Discord, as I said, Saturday. Really? Thank you. I get so many DMs on the Discord that it is tough. Right? Let me see here. Sorry, my phone is dead. I've been keeping it off for notice. I don't use my phone a lot. I keep it off for distraction purposes, so I can stick to the charts, do what I got to do, play with my kids. You know what I mean? Be a good dad. Like, I don't really need my phone to be a good dad, to be a good husband. And my wife can communicate with, everyone that's running the company with me and all that. And so a lot of times my phone will die. People will text me, say, you never get back to me, blah, blah, blah. I don't use my phone like the average person because I use Discord so much. That takes up so much of my communicational abilities, right? That I'm pretty worn out with, the average person doesn't run a Discord with 1,800, tons of people in it. So they're not getting pushed and pulled socially and, intellectually like I am socially. So I don't use my phone for stimulation like the average person would, right? if that makes any sense. So a lot of other people don't understand that about me, so they think I'm being rude. They don't realize it's just exhausting. Like, I can't answer every text message, and I can't, it's impossible. I would be literally exhausted. I save my mental energy for the charts and for my trading group and for people that really need help. All right. So I like this daily move here. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we get the pump. Stop could be like right there near that wick too. And so this is a possible move back to the upside. When no one else is suggesting it could happen, well, you could get the pump. To me, it's all about this 8-hour closing back above the 200. If the 8-hour can close back above the 200 moving average, I would be tempted to go back in again. Same trade, they got me, you know, bounce it back. I didn't get stopped out, so we'll see where this one goes. I'd love a bounce back to the upside, inverted head and shoulder here. And it's likely every time they've had a massive dump, there's been enough liquidity to pump it back to the upside. That would be a beautiful inverted head and shoulder for Bitcoin. So it's not all bad. I would watch the 8-hour time frame today and the daily. Those are the two time frames that mean the most to me today. Because we could see, you know, 4-hour looks cool too, but the 8-hour and the daily are going to really tell us the story. And you can watch a small time frame for all the confirmation and wait and all that. Like we'd wait for this to make a flag now, see? Now that could be a possible trade. I like the daily, the bigger idea. And we could wait for 8 p.m. tonight to see that daily candle close. And that could be the greatest time to open up the trade too. I like Monday nights. I'm in the Discord and I'm not able to DM you, my friend. Request hasn't been approved. Yeah, I don't. Because if everyone DM'd me, it would be out of control. I have 608 people waving at me. Look at this. Accept DM. Look at this. If I hit that button and started accepting all those DMs, it would be... I don't have the capacity, my friends. I love you all, and I would love to hit every DM on Discord. I just can't anymore. I used to be able to do that. I can't. It comes in by the 50, 60 to 100, and again, like I told you, my eyes burn out when I stare at the screen, right? So when I use the computers, I want to use it for the best. So I want to use it to look at charts and help you guys learn. So if I'm using it to socialize and DM everyone, I'm not really using my time efficiently or my eyesight. Because I run a trading group and have a lot of different people looking for attention and information, I have to be very efficient with the way I use my attention. See, it's forced me to become a very disciplined person in all facets of my life, even in the way in which I use my optics. I can't use my optics randomly, right? When people are paying $99 a month and need my services. You see what I'm saying? So it's almost rude for me to be texting all day in my own world when I need those services to help others, right? Hello, my most beautiful flower of love.
Will you end 5 minutes early to pick someone up, or do I have to go pick her up with all the kids?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take care of that. I love you with all my heart and soul. You're the greatest thing in my life, and you're the reason I have everything, and I thank you for everything. I thank God for you every day. God bless everybody here. You get them all. Sticky notes. Yeah, exactly. Samber, your opinion on Elliott wave theory. I mean, it's cool. I don't think it's needed. For what I do, I don't see it, you know, but again, maybe it works for you. I don't want to put down anyone else's sauce. Like, if it's what they use and it works for them, so be it. A lot of people probably see what I do and have no idea what's going on and may never understand. That's fine. I'm sure there's many traders that are going to do something I'll never fully really want to spend the time to figure out. You know what I mean? That's what I learned too. That's the greatest thing about getting somewhere in trading is knowing your system, your style, and where you want to be. And deciding that you're cool with it. Deciding that that probability is played out more than it hasn't, and you're willing to take the shot. See if that can eventually break out, small time frame. So the daily, I like what the daily can be doing here. It's crazy that it's kind of a diamond, right? It's funny, what if we extend the diamond like this? I'm just, you know, it's interesting. You're like, it's the widest diamonds in the world. It came in from the bottom, it goes down the bottom. You know, I don't know. Or you could say here, it came in from the top, it's going to break right out the top. I mean, that has some diamond vibes. I have to be honest, that is a diamond of the 7-minute time frame. I was playing around, but now I'm like, whoa. I think we got ourselves a diamond here. And again, the 200, the 21 touching price could do some movement to the upside here. So let's reel back in that diamond. And let's see what happens. Dang, so they played me, but I would have been stopped out for $400. I saved myself a little bit there. Because that, man, that was a beautiful flag. And again, 68% of the time that's going to play. Even 50%, it's an ascending triangle, not a bull flag. So now you got the cup and handle at the 200 moving average. See? Savvy, cup and handy to the upside, and just learn with me. Take it all in. Today may have been confusing with you. It may have been hard for you to follow. It may not have been perfect. You may have got frustrated sometimes watching this. You may have, but take it in. Let your subconscious mind begin to grow. As you take it in, you're going to see things, know things, and begin to see the market in a way you've never thought even existed. And you're going to have access to data points that you never thought possible as well. All right? Look at this beautiful cup and handle. The 200 now getting the push to the upside. Staying a little late today. Shout out to Master Friend in the house. God bless you. You're so funny, man. I got to get back to work. Crypto, my hobby. Blessings to all. Have a beautiful day. 15-minute bear flag. Stocks cooling. Looks like a false move Monday playing out. Like Sammy said. I mean, so far, Bitcoin looks okay. I don't know about the NASDAQ. I left it alone already. Honestly, look at the NASDAQ. Almost looks like they faked a head and shoulder pattern. I'm going to give it the 5-minute right now. Yeah, I mean, that to me is starting to kind of make some type of bull flag, possibly. It's a bull flag, it's a bear flag, it's a bull. Is it a bull or a bear? How many bears can eat a bull? How many bulls can eat a bear? I'd rather eat a bear than eat a bull. So, what in tarnation do we got here, my furry friend? You know, you'd be looking for possible moves to 22. 22,000's been key, too. Once we finally get back above 22K, 24, 25 looks like it's going to be the way. All right? Drink it in, folks. Go to CryptoLifer.com to find out more. And it's really simple. Look, he made the link right here, but you go to CryptoLifer.com, and it brings you to the beautiful website where you can go to the upper right corner, hit subscribe, and subscribe to a monthly, a quarterly, or an annual subscription. I never take a day off, 7 days a week, pumping out the charts, tips, tricks, and ideas. Give you a NASDAQ trade today. Showed you where to trade it and how to trade it on BTCC, which is an exchange. I met the people that work with it in Dubai and in Vegas. Good people, good connections, understandable, and they've already made changes to this, to the site too, which is pretty cool. Bitcoin kind of bear flag in there, huh? Mixed signals, small time frames don't look great. Shoulder, head, right shoulder there. Right? I wouldn't touch it till we get this daily close now. Look how that even has like a head and shoulder. It's weird, right? It even has some descending triangle vibes to it. Well, those break to the downside 68% of the time, too. And we do have liquidity further to the downside here. Looks like Bitcoin's about to take a bit of a dump. Let's see. Can it hold this funky diamond? Right? I'm not saying it's going up here. I'm just showing you that's your measured move if it ever did. Really lower right there, yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not in a long or a short. See if this thing can pump. I like the daily. I'd like to enter a daily trade tonight, 8 p.m., see if it can continue to pump. See if you can hold this 7-minute resistance at 1014. Otherwise, you're going to drop quickly back to 107,000. 100,700. Sorry. Definitely some mixed signals here for Bitcoin on the smaller time frames, which is and this is either the bear flag or the way, this could be the way out or the way in here. This all started this morning when we saw this pattern and talked about it possibly being a right shoulder. We were here and we kind of drew this. We got the right shoulder and then they dumped it on. Could be negated. Small time frames don't look amazing as well, and they could propel us further down. Yeah, I'd watch your 1 hour time frame right here for Bitcoin. Seems to be rolling over, and that would take it back to 98,000. So, yeah, I wouldn't. I tried the long. The long didn't play out nicely, so we already know, like, that would have been pumping already. We would have caught the reversal by now. I would have been calling a short squeeze. Would have been, like, slapping our hands and been like, yeah, we did it again on the Crypto Lifer Show. It didn't happen as such, so, there you have it. Okay. So shout out to anyone that did take the NASDAQ trade. Anyone take the NASDAQ trade? I'm just curious to see who's trading the NASDAQ with me. Or are you cautious? Like, are you like a little like, just let me know. Are you into trading the NASDAQ, still cautious? Or is it something that you'd be willing to do? Or is it just you're all Bitcoin, you don't, I just want to teach you could do anything, Iran attacked a Syria base, so that's probably making things go down, somebody says. Interesting. So heavy fear of the market would push us further, possibly to the downside. The gold and oil suggests something big is happening, which would suggest we will get a bit of a pullback here. And all coins and everything, everyone's going to kind of sell off again. It is what it is. So, but it will create an opportunity. If you believe the opportunity is with you, then you are going to find it. It just is what it is, right? So every single day, believe that. It's hard to do. And so how do you do that? You have to have endorphins in the mind. You have to have a positive outlook all the time. How do you keep a positive outlook when things aren't going well, when everyone thinks that you're slumping? You work out every day. You believe in yourself. You surround yourself with positive people. Okay? The people, the smaller percentage of the people are always positive. There's a larger percentage of people that are letting everything get to them. So you want to be in the minority and constantly tell yourself, I can, I will, I am the best. I form the reality in which I live in. Right? If I don't want something in my life, if I don't want that type of vibration, then I will work towards acting differently so I don't attract that situation. Most negative situations people end up in, they've been attracting slowly into their lives. It's not the moment. They don't blame themselves at that moment because it's not right then. It's how they've been living for a certain amount of time that is added up into that behavior, something like, and it's sad, but a lot of the things that we do, we put on ourselves, even when it seems like we're victims of the rest of the world. And again, some people don't have the skills. They grew up around it, so then they're victims of victims. But long swings on Bitcoin, fast scalps on Sol, and building a long-term short on lumber, all using knowledge I learned from the Crypto Lifer. God bless you, brother. Stocks are investments. I mean, not that you can't use it to trade, obviously, 100%. AOIZ is the 100X for 2025 to December of 2026. I love AOIZ D-Pin. Let's take a look at AAVE, a super chat here. Lakochi Coker, thank you. Let's take a look at what happened here for AAVE. And so we got gold and we have oil, both looking pretty bullish. We talked about it, we went over it. It gave you the possible probabilities here for gold and oil. Again, I can't make the trade for you. I am not a financial advisor. I won't tell you what to do with your money. That's not what I do here. I won't go over your portfolio. Just, I'm simply a self-taught analyst that's going to go over the markets every day, show you what I'm seeing, and seeing what the highest probabilities are based on what I've learned over the years. So, AAVE, lending. If the market was horrible and in a bear market or going horrible, I don't think AAVE would be making some type of kind of cup and handle the way it is. Again, you never know. I'm open-minded, but this says back to the top of the range at least. Maybe shoulder, head, right shoulder, then we dump, which could happen. But it says maybe just a little move here back to the top of the range at least. If we lose this level, dumping to the 200 moving average. So I'd watch AAVE at least for a bounce, if it can bounce, but it might make a right shoulder. That's a shoulder, head, right shoulder. Again, we don't know for sure. The bounce would be beautiful getting in tight here. Then what? The drop further to the downside. Very possible. We bounce off the 4-hour supply block at 102. Headed down to the next 4-hour demand at 103. By God. Yeah, what a day. Is Sol reaching for that all-time low? If we all ripped one, oh my God. Okay, so yeah. So you're looking for a bounce here back on AAVE, but it could make a right shoulder. But at least I see a bounce, possibly. It looks like it could take 5 to 6 days, 9 days to make the right shoulder. And it looks like you're forming a complex inverted head and shoulder here for AAVE. Shoulder, 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 head, shoulder, 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 you know. A complex inverted head and shoulder. That could boom back to the 200 moving average and back to the point of control at 260 for AAVE. You must keep moving 100%. Yep. Life is like a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. It's really true, though. Once you stop and stay stagnant, you can fall over pretty easily. It's about pushing yourself every single day and keeping it moving. I didn't know I was going to trade the NASDAQ this morning, but I did. I didn't know what was going to happen, but you know, we put our best foot forward. And again, if you can't handle this volatility, but you know there's awesome movement to be had in it, then sign up to the Minotaur trading system. I do get a beautiful commission if you sign up. Schedule a call today and speak with one of their awesome specialists about why this could be the one for you. I use it. I think it's absolutely amazing. Check it out. Minotaur Trading Systems, Crypto Lifer. I love it, man. And you can schedule a free call and just ask them some questions. You may just get some insight on your own that you could use later on. It's amazing. So shout out to Minotaur. Thank you for the love. Thank you for always being here. And hold me down. And thank you for the partnership. I love it. Everyone, I'm making these trades here too on MEXC. Least amount of fees in the entire industry. No one else does less fees. So it looks like Bitcoin is taking that move dead down on that 1 minute head and shoulder pattern. See it? It's all head and shoulders all the time for Bitcoin right now. You know, you're basically, Grace is like, can you break out of this falling wedge? Back to the top of the range. Defy the head and shoulder, or are you dropping right down there? False move Monday, be careful. Again, we lost the 200 moving average on the 1 minute. That was the beginning signal of the day. Look, that's it. You get in here, you get out there, that's it. The rest of this is just the chop of the day. You get back above 102.050, then yeah, we could talk. You get back above the 200 moving average, yeah, we could talk. You know, you turn this into an inverted head and shoulder. 1 minute could save you. Right now, the bears are in control. Bulls have to show you something. All right. Okay. Lifer's referral link. God bless you. Bitcoin must have had bad dandruff. It's constantly using a head and shoulder pattern. Yeah. Sam, give some thoughts on moving from full-time job to full-time trader. The transition is indeed stressful. I want to hear what you got to say about it. I mean, that's a great question. And we have about 8 minutes left. I think I could take about 4.5 to answer that. So what I did is I was long. See, I'll tell you my whole story here real fast, which will answer the question. Really, the only way I could do it. So I'm working a night shift for $875 a week. They even took like $275, I think, for health insurance or something. I was making like $500 a week, right? At one point, I was making maybe $12.75 a week with no health insurance. And even $10.50 I started. It was crazy. Yeah, I started $175 a night, got to $250 eventually. Yeah, I mean, I was making, let's just say $12.50 no health insurance. And this was I was making $12.50 a week, no health insurance, in New York City. All right. On a night shift, I got in at 7 and I was supposed to leave at 3 a.m. And I'm also, you know, but what I did is I started saving every penny I could. I was a good saver. I always had some type of side business, side hustle. So no matter how much I made in my real life, there was always something extra, and I saved my money. My dad taught me that you got to save. Now, I wasn't always the best with money. I'd start a savings. Sometimes I'd put it somewhere. It wouldn't go perfect, but I'd start another savings again, and I'd put it somewhere, and eventually amassed, like, I don't know, 10 grand. And I started researching. And I found, what was my first real investment? I found that was gold and silver. And I found a silver stock that I kept hearing about. And I put like $2,700 in. And in 40 days, it turned into $9,000. All right. That was my first real trade of my life. Great, one of my, bigger trades. Great Panther Limited. 2015, almost 10 years now, right? Now, before that, I've been buying and selling stocks for 4 or 5 years, even longer than that, since I was 22. But it really took me 8 years before I really knew what a chart was, decided I was going to start day trading and all that. You know what I mean? That took some time. So this was like my first real swing trade after, and then I took that 10 and I started looking for things to invest. And I started researching marijuana stocks, and I found that they're going to make it legal. It's going to be everywhere, like in the liquor store. And I found the best ones, and I sprinkled that money in between them all. And eventually one of them hit pretty big. They all hit pretty big. I didn't take my money on most of them that hit, but the one that hit pretty big was Canopy Grow Corp. From there, I started researching Bitcoin, and because I was already a gold freak, and I had gold and silver. I'd been buying gold and silver before all of this, saving my money, and then I had 40 grand of gold and silver. I didn't know what to do, so I started trading, and I just slowly changed my life over time, Then eventually I had, because I bought gold and silver, I didn't always have the cash, but I had the gold and silver. Once I got the 10 grand cash, started trading, maybe even like 4 grand when I really, and next thing you know, I moved the Canopy Grow Corp money into BTC, and then slowly my life started to change. Next thing you know, I had a huge savings. Bitcoin started to rip, and then I started dedicating my life to trading. Then I had a huge savings, way better than most, and I knew I was getting higher up in the world, when it came to money. And I said, okay, I had time to take off. So then I started working less, and then one year I took a whole 6 months off, and I decided to trade instead. And then slowly but surely, big things happened. Then I called Bitcoin and started to pump. Then I started doing my stuff live in front of everybody. And here we are from the channel in 2019 to 2025. It's been a long journey for me. And it's been an insane run. But yeah, the transition was a long one. All I did was tell myself that eventually I was going to win. And I eventually, and I continue to win now. And now I'm here. Now I'm the Crypto Lifer. Now we have, 1,500 to 2,000 people a day coming every day to watch live, and more people that watch the stream over and over again. We have people that want the knowledge, want the sauce, and learn, right? And there's great days to trade. There's bad days to trade. Today is a tough day to trade. You can see treachery in the market. Let's see where the daily candle closes. Right now, the bears are in control. It's more likely we're going to drop further to the downside. This is a bear flag, you see? This is the most likely scenario. And then you even has a measured move because you have the length of the pole, and you'd be surprised. That's how we hit it recently. So the range is somewhere down to 97.5. And that's also a psychological area. And then you look at BOOKMAP, and BOOKMAP also loads a good amount of liquidity down there. And this is showing you people getting liquidated now in the market. Right now, the longs are getting liquidated. And we got this level down here. All right. Anyway, I love you guys. God bless each and every one of you. I hope you're winning your short or your long, whatever's happening. Be careful. I wouldn't be surprised if they rip it and dip it, flip it, and, I am seeing some signs of my normal morning reversal, but they're just kind of playing with it. So, this is a falling wedge. Falling wedges are supposed to break up 68% of the time. So, we don't need anything. This is possible shoulder, head, right shoulder. Wouldn't be surprised we end up somewhere back here. This looks like a diamond to me that could break out. Watch price action closely. If I had to give you my trader instinct, I'm leaning we could kind of get a move back, just even a slight move back up first before anything else. So in the next hour or two, I'd say we go up. That's my last call there. I got to run, everyone. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for jumping on in. Appreciate you all for being here, and I'll catch you all on the next live stream. May God bless you all, and thank you so much. I'll see you on the next live stream. God bless you all. I appreciate it. Remember, the secret to success is getting started. You got to start, or you're not going to get anywhere. You got to make the move. Everyone that ever got anything in life or made anything of themselves, from Michael Jordan, right, all the way to the greatest ever in anything, from Muhammad Ali, everyone had to put the gloves on at one point and get in the ring. They had to start. Everybody had to start at one point. You have to start trading. Join a trading group. Begin to use the charts. You got to start somewhere. You're not going to be great to start, but you have to start. to be great. God bless you all. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.